This is a video where you can listen while getting some stuff done. So let's get into it. Well, hey guys, it's Nikki here and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having an amazing day. And here I am back with another story time. Now, the end of last year, I did a story time about my most exciting doll outing ever without any footage. And you guys seem to really love that video. I got great feedback on that video, so I want to incorporate this into my channel. But these are one of those videos where you can go ahead and get things done. You do not have to look at the screen. There won't be any babies shown. It's just me talking about something, a part of my life. Now, each story won't necessarily deal with a doll per se. It's just something personal that I would like to share. If you guys would like to pick up on this choo-choo train and follow along, I would love to hear some story times from you guys. But yeah, everything won't be always related to the dolls when it comes to my story time. So go ahead, get up, cook, change a baby, reorganize, do some laundry, whatever you need to do while you listen to this story time. So if you've seen the beginning of my video, it says how I made a grown man cry without knowing him. So I know that sounds strange, but it's a very, very interesting story. So way back when in 1966, pick up sticks. That's just a saying that my best friend and I say all the time to relate to that. It happened a really long time ago for us. I wasn't even born in 1966. But if I say 1966, pick up sticks, that means that this happened to me quite a while ago. So both of my children were children and they were in elementary school. To pick up extra money for Christmas, I always did a part-time job as a photographer for Sears, 45 minutes away from my city. And I did this from the end of September to the beginning of January. That was the hottest season because people were coming in for holiday pictures like Christmas, Halloween, Thanksgiving pictures, generation pictures, whatever. It seemed like between those time frames, people came in to do photos. And at that time, my best friend was the manager, so we worked together. And so we seen some pretty crazy things, and we got to experience a lot. It was fun. It was a little stressful at times, but this was how I made extra money for my children. I always did a Christmas account, but I was a single mom, guys. So with two children, everything helped. So between September and the beginning of January, I worked two jobs. I worked my part-time job in the evenings and on weekends. And so also what I loved about Sears at that time, because it was inside of Sears in the mall, you got this great, amazing discount. So I was also able to shop for my children's clothes with a great discount. So it was like a win-win situation. But there were some not so good times and some great times. So, but that's why I love photography. This part-time job made me love photography. And so it's another way that I can incorporate something I love into this hobby, because I do love taking pictures of my dolls. And, it was just, like I said, a great way to earn extra cash for Christmas. Now, the pros about working with photography as a job, well, you're learning to love photography. If you don't like it, then this is not the job for you. I had major discounts, as I already said. I worked with my best friend, so that was like a huge bonus because we could just look at each other and just start to giggle. And no words need to be said, but we were just always in a good, jolly mood. You know, when you have one of those friends that is very, very genuine, and that's how we've always been over the years. And my children always had a great Christmas because I was able to pick up great money during this time. The cons of working photography was it was a lot of time away from my kids during those 3 to 4 months because I was working 2 jobs. So I barely seen them during the day. I seen them because, they were in school. I seen them for a couple of hours. Then I took them to the babysitter, went to work, and on half of the day on the weekends, I worked. So, but it was for a good cause, but still, it was a lot of time away from the kids. I worked evenings, so that, put a strain on spending time with my kids, like I say. So it was a part-time job, but another thing that is such a con was bad children that came in for pictures. We had a routine. We knew what poses we wanted to set up based of how many people came in. So if you have a family, how we did the sessions with big families, like if you have a large family, the way we did our poses was you do the whole family first, then you do pair offs, you do all the kids, and then you do the parents, and then you do a child with each parent, and you do generational pictures, and so on and so on. And then you do like the grandparents with the grandkids, and mom and dad with their parents, things like that. Poses were already picked out based on the number of members that came in for their session. Now, what made it hard was rowdy kids, because kids does not, they don't have a after a little while they get tired, okay? They don't want to sit there and have to pose for pictures for more than 20 to 30 minutes. So you have to like really do it fast when you have small children. So it's like trying to get them in and out poses. If you have two brothers, there's back to back posing where you have them back to back. Sisters, you more likely have them holding hands, looking at each other. Things like that. You're trying to think of quick things so you can get these children in and out, especially if they're rowdy. One of the things that I also was hard to do pictures was parents who didn't uh, get on their kids. They seen them running amok, they seen them not cooperating, and they were just, okay, snap the picture and it better look great. That was hard. Another crazy thing that parents would do, guys, bring in crazy, crazy props. No kidding you. One woman brought in 5,000 Sonic peppermint candies, and she just threw them all over the floor. And her little boy had on a Santa hat, and she wanted him to play in the candy, peppermint candies, and we get photos from that. Just imagine having to pick all those candies up, all of that stuff, but she literally saved all those peppermints just for Christmas to do a peppermint photo shoot with her child. And then another thing that is a hard thing, expecting a miracle when you know it wasn't the best time for your child to take pictures. If you bring your child in and it's their nap time, they're cranky, they're hungry, uh, they are not going to be very, very happy about taking pictures, smiling, doing as they're told. Their mind is a one train track. They're ready to either go to sleep, they're hungry, they passed a Chick-fil-A on the way to the Sears, they passed a pizza place on the way to Sears. They're smelling that food. They're hungry. All they're thinking about is going to go eat. So if you have small children and you're going to go take a photograph session, please feed your children before you come. Especially if you are going to in a place in a building where there's food all around. Kids, that's all they can think about. And so if they're sleepy, if you know it's close to their nap time, try to pick a time that is either way, way before or right after they wake up if they're on schedule. And then you have your mommies feeding their children sugar to try to keep them to stay up. Well, that just makes them a little bit more cranky and very, very energetic. So they're giving them sweet suckers, whatever, to try to get them to sit there and look like little angels taking these pictures, which never ever works. Have you ever watched I forgot what it was called, but it's where the children were always doing pageants, and these moms would give them these large powdered sugar candies to and sodas to make them very energetic and stay on point. it this happens for real, guys, because a lot of parents did that when they would come into the studio. I mean, it was always some type of craziness. I mean, it really was. Or a parent asking their newborn baby to smile just like they did last night. Come on, Brooklyn. Come on, baby. Go ahead and smile like you showed mommy last night. Go ahead and show me that beautiful, beautiful smile that you were doing last night. And this baby is 2 weeks old. That just always tripped me out to the point where you had to learn how to keep a professional face without just like, come on, this is a newborn, or come on, are you serious? The best you're going to get out of a newborn. There are times when you will be able to take a really nice photo. It's in the moment. It's one of those in the moment. Did I say video? I'm sorry, a picture. If I did say video, but the only time you can take a good picture like that is if it's in the moment. And they were expecting their child to repeat that at 2 weeks old. And one of my biggest pet peeves were when mothers brought their children in rushed straight from the hospital. I felt like there should have been a policy like your child has to be at least 6 weeks old before we can photograph. But that wasn't the case. We literally had a woman come in with bracelets still on her wrist and her child's wrist. I thought that was so unsanitary. I did my best to try to protect that child. I usually, if I would make an appointment with the person, I would tell them to bring their own little blankets for them to lay on, because a lot of the muslin things that we used, they don't get washed all the time. So to me, that's better for like people who doesn't have to put their face on it and things like that. Well, a lot of parents would bring their children in, and we would keep something to lay the baby on. But who wants to lay their baby's bare face on something that somebody has put their feet on all day? So I would always encourage them to bring something that matched what their theme was, so they could lay on their own material. But yes, I have seen people bring their children in straight out of the hospital. So I say all of those things to say this. This is one of the most precious moments that I had while I worked as a photographer. There was a couple that came in with their child. She couldn't have been no more than 6 months old. She was at least sitting up on her own, but she was beautiful. She had this beautiful blonde hair. She was fair skinned. She had these gorgeous, knock me out blue eyes. And I knew from just seeing her face what I wanted to do to enhance her pictures. And so they brought her in, and you can tell this was her first professional shoot. And the mom and dad was so happy. And I was like, oh, let me be able to fulfill their happiness. And so I set her down in and playing with her. And all of a sudden, she just gave this gorgeous, out of sight, out of, knocked it out of the park smile that hit the lighting so perfectly that I had to look at the picture twice when I took it. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be my selling point picture, because you had to also sell these pictures to the customer once you take them. So the picture was gorgeous. So you can tell the parents to go walk around or do whatever they need while you edit these pictures, right? So as I'm sitting down editing her pictures, I take that picture, and guys, I highlight those gorgeous blue eyes. It just looked like you could swim in a sea in her eyes. That smile was just dead on. I gave her this like angelic glow, and just made the picture just look very angelic with that smile. She had on yellow that day. I mean, it was just beautiful. And I put the most beautiful sayings on that picture. And then I would do a picture with just her name or something like that. So as I sit down at the table to ready to discuss the selling point with these parents, the daddy sees that picture and he immediately starts to cry. Guys, I still can feel that as if it was yesterday. He immediately started to cry. He thought that was the most beautiful thing he's ever seen. He hugged her tighter. He was just so enamored with that picture. And I was so thankful that I could provide that for them, because the mom and dad was so happy. Once he seen that picture, he bought everything, guys. That was probably one of my biggest commissions, because I know they paid over $600 of pictures, worth of pictures that day, because of that one pose, that one smile. That's why I say I love in the moment poses, because you can really get some amazing pictures in the moment. It really can't be staged. So he just started to cry, and he was so thankful. And I know for sure, guys, that that picture is probably still up in their home. That's probably the picture they show her to embarrass her. I'm pretty sure that little girl is close to 17 now, maybe. But I'm pretty sure that picture still brings a lot of joy and happiness to their family, as it did the day that they seen it. That's what made me start to really, really love photography. Just catching. That's why I say I love action photos, and I love photos in general, photography. And we can stage our dolls, we can stage them in poses, and they're going to sit there as long as we could stage them, go eat, go do something, and come back and start taking pictures. That's the great thing about this hobby, is that we are dealing with still images. But it was just so crazy to see such emotion come from this grown man about the picture of his child. And I still remember that. And I hope that family is doing well. I hope that little girl is doing amazing things. But I really, really, I will never forget that. But like I said, there's so many stories I could tell you about working in a photography studio. It is not funny. You would have parents that they know their child is just going crazy, but they expect an amazing turnout photo shoot. I have even had to tell a family, you're going to have to reschedule. If you are planning on spending money, or if this is just a waste, not waste of time, but something you're just doing to waste time while you're in the mall or whatever, you won't get great pictures from this. He was not having it. They get mad about it, but they have to understand, we are not miracle workers. Those cameras do not shoot out the images that we want to see. It's shooting out at the images that it's seeing. So it was so. Oh, there's another one. Let me tell you this one really quick. This family came in, and this lady, she was Korean, and it was her husband and her mother. And you can tell that I felt like it was one of those where he married her from overseas and brought her to America. But the mother and grandmother was so traditional. The dad couldn't even hold the baby till it was time for him to take a picture with the baby. The grandmother held that baby the whole time. She told him how to hold the baby, what to do with the baby, and then give the baby back. So he had no interaction whatsoever with his child. And I was like, this poor man, I mean, he can't even interact with his baby. If he wanted to do a special daddy and daughter picture, he couldn't do it. It had to be approved. And so I could just imagine how it was at home. So I felt sorry for him. But yeah, I've seen some crazy things. But guys, this is my time. I hope within these 19 minutes you were able to get at least something done while you listen to this crazy story, a story time of me telling you how I once worked in a photography studio and made a grown man cry. But I really appreciate this and expect another story time soon. We'll see you later, guys. Bye.